cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. You're listening to Chris Wyatt Reports on the Wyatt Independent News Network. Pleasure to have you join me once again today for Hump Day, middle of the week. I may look a little low energy today. Actually, for the first time since January 18th, almost a whole month of covering all the stuff that's been going on, I'm actually a bit knackered right now. Well, I've been knackered at night before, but I'm knackered during the day. Last night, after finishing my broadcast, I just couldn't get back to sleep, and I didn't get to bed till after 5:30 or 6 o'clock this morning, I should say 6, and got up at 8. And so not a lot of sleep I'm working on today. I haven't had any caffeine and sugar, so I'm just trying to mainline that right now. And meanwhile, I just recorded a video, and we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to ask you, okay, let me do a poll. I'll put that up right now. Start a poll. If you voted DA in 2024, are you satisfied with that vote? Okay. All right, there's a poll. People feel free to answer it if you'd like. By the way, I was correct about the number of views. We dropped half. We went from 179,000 views on Sunday to 145 yesterday, which is usually a good day for me. Monday, well, that's pretty good for, compared to historical. But big drop off from previous day, 179 to 142, and yesterday just 75,000 views as the wave has dissipated. I suspect a lot of people have come with enthusiasm. They're just looking for answers or questions about what's going on with the refugee program, and that's great. You're welcome here. Appreciate it. I'll ask you to become a subscriber. It'd be nice if you keep watching videos, but clearly the bloom is worn off the rose as far as people wanting the truth because the numbers are dropping precipitously. But the strange thing is people are still coming over. My video yesterday about 14 most frequently asked questions for African refugee program has actually got me almost 1,000 subscribers. And at this rate today, this early in the day, I will, if things continue, I will surpass yesterday's subscriber count additional by a wide margin, hopefully. So we'll see what happens there, but it is interesting. As I said, YouTube is a funny creature. You've got to ride the wave while you can, and that's what I've been trying to do. Thank you to the 439 people currently here. What's really fascinating is the live streams. How many people are showing up for the live streams? But what is disconcerting, frustrating, and frankly, folks, a bit annoying is the people who keep going to my videos that are prepared videos, recorded videos, and asking questions, asinine, inane questions that I've already answered. If only you took the time and had the courtesy to watch the video that I just spent 3 hours preparing, analyzing, and bringing the information to you for free. For free. You're not paying me for it. I'm not offering you any. Good God. That is the most revolting part of it. Well, can I take my pets? Asked and answered. Will I be able to come back to South Africa? Asked and answered. Why this? It's all there. There's a few questions I haven't answered, and a few people watch the video, and they've asked legitimate questions, and if I can answer it, I can. And I've spent an inordinate amount of time trying to answer the questions of those people there because I understand people's concerns and worries. But anyway, it's just unbelievable. People asking the same thing over and over again on a video that's posted right there. I'm not talking about the live chat where people come in, they jump in the chat after we've been here for half an hour, and they ask a question. I get that. I understand it. But it's a recorded video. It's obvious. It isn't a live stream. Watch the damn video, then ask your questions if I don't address them. That's just funny. Anyway, let me say hello to everybody in the chat, then we're going to get to the news, and we're going to talk about the Democratic Alliance today. Look, I'm not anti-Democratic Alliance. I'm also not trying to beat them up, but it's becoming impossible to defend where they are or even understand that party. Janice Lauren's Daughter of Jesus says, good afternoon. Bruce Webster, Southern Paul's, do you need popcorn, whiskey? You might want whiskey for this one. And don't forget, after this, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested, we'll be jaunting over to Ronaldo host program. Ronaldo goes, yeah, we'll be going over there after this for Wednesdays with the Colonel, and we'll see what he's got to say. Ronaldo's been busy burning up the waves himself. He's got lots of time on his hands now that he's a former member of Parliament. And he and I will probably talk about John Steenhuisen today. I have a suspicion we're going to talk about that. Okay, there. I'm trying to find that. So put that in now. You're going to be redirected after this stream. Just want to make sure it was there. By the way, in subscriber count, we are approaching 39,000. Woo, that's so exciting. We are 265 subscribers away from reaching 39,000 today. How exciting is that? I'm pretty excited about that. I hope you are too. And I ask folks, if all you're here for is to get some information about the non-existent refugee program, which will be existent at some point, you're welcome. And if you only come here for that and we never see you again, then that's fine. That's your prerogative. Thank you for subscribing if you did. Thank you for watching if you did, but I would prefer to watch and subscribe. But if you're just here for that and you never come back again, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But I think you'll find that you'll get the most objective analysis and usually the most accurate analysis on what's going on in South Africa, across Africa, and around the world right here on this program. And the opinions on this program cannot be disputed. No one has offered anything that refutes anything here. Every single argument that I've faced this calendar year about something has been just completely easy to obliterate and destroy with the facts. And with, if it's an opinion, somebody has a different opinion, I can't defeat their opinion because opinions are like bumholes. Everybody's got one. And they don't have to be based on fact or reality. They can be based on someone's feelings. So you're really hard to refute an opinion. But facts, that's a different story. Statistics, different story. All right, so Pokey's here, Royston's here, Royston Farquhar, Janet Joel, Kai, Neil Britz, Southern Pauls, Mark Sayers, Pablo Charlie, Sloth Puppy, Jaretha. Luke says, good evening, folks. Popcorn is ready. What's new? Okay. The others are protesting against Israel. It's just a warning from USNBC site. Okay, you still get 5 minutes. Don't worry. Well, I wasn't 5 minutes late. It was only 3 minutes because I was recording that video. Please send the link to join the refugee. The refugee WhatsApp group. Yeah, I need a mod to do that. Are there any mods here? Are any of my usual suspects here? We got 544 people. There's Erica. Is Hendo here? Is Arctic here? Oh, interesting. I don't have that link handy. Let me just go try to get it since I don't see anyone there. Maybe it's already been posted and I'm behind in the chat, so my apologies for that. Let me see. I'll go to that group and will it give me a link? No, that's not what I want. Overview. Permissions. No, I hate this. It doesn't give me the... No, it doesn't give me the... Anyway, someone else is going to have to do that, so please take care of that for us. Okay. All right, General, can't wait to leave. Clinton West, 1 of 440. Gary, thank you for subscribing. Len van Ice from Durbanville. Okay, Domino, Venezia Rind, George Fantonda. There's a video on this same channel about specifically questions regarding refugee status. Exactly, Domino. Please, folks, go check out the video. It's from yesterday, and it has about 35,000 views on it. It ought to have 350,000, but, YouTube, whatever, go figure. Helena Fonsell, welcome to you from Somerset West, my favorite place in the Western Cape. Although Gordons Bay is pushing it for rivalry. The only reason Gordon Bay is not winning is because I'm not a beach person. Malmesbury is another heat wave. Okay, interesting. And Hargan Hotzenbag, welcome to you. Elizabeth Krug is back. Mr. Punisher, there's an old, long-time dedicated viewer here. Tanya DeBeer, another one. And Maddie Free Spirit, Christian Peter say. Marius Fent has been very busy with us in the chat. Adolf Cotter, welcome to you. And Cuthbert. Okay, welcome to you. Neville Purdon is back. How's the mom, Neville? Is she doing well today? I hope she's doing well. And wow, we're just way behind here in the chat. So I'm sorry about that, folks. Let me jump ahead here a little bit. Try not to skip people. Adele, Nels, Luke, Ekleb, Dylan Combrick. There's an original gangster there. Zordorf, Erica, Dave Duplessis, AI Creators, Pink, Val Cooper. There's an AI. There's one. An original gangster there, Val Cooper. Did you guys see that Juju and some women in MK said about Trump? So it was upload an hour ago. Show Trump the middle finger. Yeah, okay. Well, wait till I find that. Oh, there's the membership for Mark Bernard. Thank you for that. And I'll just point, I did a video, which almost nobody's watching, which is unfortunate, about all the things that the South African parliamentarians are doing against their own self-interest. Just 9,000 views. That one I did, that's why I was up late working on that one. And they just don't get it. They just don't get it. Well, they're gonna get it. They keep pissing off the United States. They're gonna learn what punishment is. They're gonna learn what retribution is. They're gonna learn what punitive measures are. None of that's been done to South Africa, and they're whining like little bitches. And they keep the little bitch whining up, and they're gonna get smacked down. Fucking, it's amazing Trump hasn't smacked them already. He has the patience of Job, honestly. Can Canada, Colombia, Panama, Denmark, Mexico, China, all threatened with or tariffs applied. No tariffs, no sanctions have been applied to South Africa. They haven't even taken out of AGOA, which they're not even legally allowed to participate in because they're breaking the law. Yep. DeLille gave Tariff a fat finger. Well, she can give it a fat finger, but if she gave a fat finger to tariffs, then yes, she's a dumbass because there are no tariffs. The only tariffs in that relationship are the ones South Africa imposes on United States goods and services. It's comical to see these dunderheads who are actually in parliament. It shows you why the system is so broken in South Africa. Fuck around, find out, incoming. Yep, exactly. These people are dumb as a box of rocks. Who do they think they're impressing? Do they really think that getting votes from people that are functionally illiterate in South Africa is going to have an impact on whether they continue to have duty-free access to the U.S. market when they work against U.S. interests and they insult the United States on an hourly basis in their shitty little behavior in Parliament? Wow, it's just, these people are cuckoo. Daniel Hook, welcome back to you from Vodburg. Dan, it's been a bit there. Yeah, Vodburg. Yep, we never got back to the hotel. It's gone now, though. Karin van Oswegen is back. Good to see you again there. And I'm going to jump ahead, folks, because I don't want to be too far behind. And I apologize for everybody missing, like Tracy Wolf, Chris Sten, Leo Malari, Rena, other folks I'm missing here. I'm going to have to skip that chat and just catch up. Otherwise, we'll spend the whole hour just doing the chat. All right, so, yes, I am cognizant that sometimes I get deep in the chat. But today we have just another 42 minutes, so we don't have time to go through all that, so my apologies. Let me get to the news very quickly here, folks. Hang around. All right, so a tale of two delegations. The government and Solidarity are both sending delegations to the United States to talk to the United States. Well, no, they're not. The government is sending a delegation to lecture to us and to condescend to American politicians, telling them, you just don't understand. You're not bright enough to understand that nil doesn't mean zero. Nil means whatever we say it is, and we are the ANC, so we'll do what we want to do, and you can shove it up your backside. Foot sec, America. Oh, now that's going to be a good approach to get the Americans to give you back aid. Not. Yes, News 24 reports that South African government and the Solidarity Movement are both planning to send delegations to D.C. following the fallout over U.S. President Trump's action against South Africa. Okay, once again, President Trump took no action against South Africa. He simply stopped giving you free money. That's not an action against you. That's an action to balance our budget. And it's not your money. You're not entitled to it. And I don't want to hear about humanitarian reasons. You've had 22 years to address PEPFAR. And now you have until the end of this fiscal year on 30 September to start paying for the 17% of HIV care that you're not paying for. So come up with the money, ANC. Go to your masters in Tehran. Go to your masters in Beijing or Moscow. Ask them for the $364 million shortfall that will be there next year. 364 million, 6 billion rand. Where are you going to get that from? Maybe you can take it from the 940 billion rand fiction infrastructure fund that you claim that you have. Yeah. All right. Good statement which way the DA is going, but people South Africa should be asking which way this country is going. Currently happy to not wanting to be South African. Gotcha. So Solidarity, the trade union, has urged President Trump to put the pressure on South Africa. Wow, that's interesting. Wonder if I should talk to Dirk Herman. While most South African MPs criticized President Trump's recent attacks on the country, and the EU came out and supported. No, the EU didn't come out. A Spanish official came out, not the European Union. Don't. He doesn't run the European Union. Let's get that straight. Solidarity urged the American leader to ramp up pressure until the country abolishes race-based laws. In a 12-minute video posted on YouTube yesterday, Solidarity CEO Dirk Herman went on a tirade lambasting ANC government and race-based laws such as affirmative action and broad-based black economic empowerment. They packaged their race laws in beautiful words like equality, equity, and inclusivity. But here comes President Trump with one order ripped off the cotton wool. He said race laws are bad. He's right. Racial laws are bad. He's exposed and disrupted the ANC. And that's the bottom line. The ANC's feelings are hurt because they've been exposed as racist. That's the problem. They've been exposed as putting racist laws in to harm people. All right, folks, I'm going to talk to you now about three things about the Democratic Alliance, and that's why I've got the poll up. Do you happy with the vote that you have for the Democratic Alliance, or do you regret it? Again, I'm not beating up the DA. They're beating up on themselves. These are own goals, and it raises questions about the maturity, about the reliability, about the trustworthiness, and about the flip-flopability of the Democratic Alliance. And so the Democratic Alliance, which cashiered and shit-canned Ronaldo Gose over an offense that's non-existent, because it wasn't an offense. Did Ronaldo say that word? Of course he said that word. Did he say it in example, an academic example of making a point about how people would be offended by it if they heard that and was addressed to them. And he said immediately after he did the tirade, he said, I'm going to do this. I did it. Then he said, of course, I don't believe any of that. I'm just making a point. You wouldn't like that if you heard that. They used that to destroy his political career. And the Democratic Alliance, his behavior has been questionable from that point onward. And now we're going to talk about, and you might be saying, well, Ronaldo, Chris, you just do that because you're friends with Ronaldo. No, I just do it because I believe in the truth. And the cowardice of the Democratic Alliance, a lot of people excuse it. Well, you got to understand, they're in a tight spot, trying to form this coalition and get things sorted out. And, Ronaldo is just a victim of, bad timing. Fair enough. Ronaldo was set up by people within the DA, by the way. People within the Democratic Alliance are responsible for this. The Democratic Alliance investigation recommended that Ronaldo not be kicked out of the party. And then they overruled that recommendation and voted to get him out because the people who voted to get him out are probably tied to the people in the Democratic Alliance who informed the toilet paper record about that video to get that smear piece written in the first place. But let's get back to the DA presently. The Democratic Alliance has long been working with the Inkatha Freedom Party in municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal and also in other places like in Gauteng. The Inkatha Freedom Party has many of the same values as the Democratic Alliance. And now we see, instead of working behind the scenes with the Inkatha Freedom Party to come up with a solution, the Democratic Alliance goes in the press and says, you need to fire this guy. What is going on with the Democratic Alliance? This is a stupid own goal. DA calls for IFP leader's resignation over the eThekwini water crisis. There's DA leader in eThekwini, Tabani Mtebwa, and he blames the IFP leader, Mdu Nkosi, for the persisting water crisis in eThekwini. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that gentleman, Nkosi, may very well be responsible for the persisting water crisis in eThekwini. But what the hell is this that you publicly have a spat and you put this in the paper? What is your intent? You intend to embarrass the Inkatha Freedom Party, to force them to dig their heels in, to put a rift between your two parties which would work together in that municipal council? What is going on? This is the same Democratic Alliance that had a campaign in there after the July 2020 insurrection, and they put up those posters, those campaign posters. Remember those in KZN? They put them up for the DA. And somebody in the DA's little, leftist, whiny, woke, snowflake feelings were hurt about those posters, and they ordered that they take them down. They took them down, and they did very poorly. Anyway, it's just, look, what a bunch of nonsense. All right, so now the Democratic Alliance established red lines. Red lines. We will not bend on this issue. These are sacrosanct. These are the most important things to our constituents, to the people of South Africa. We will stand for the rights and liberty. Except the DA won't stand for those things. Siviwe Garuba, the Minister of Basic Education, has said that she will enforce the law. Isn't this the same Democratic Alliance, her party, that said this was a red line just a short while ago? The laws must protect pupils, teachers, and schools. I'm sorry, Siviwe Garuba, were teachers, pupils in schools not functioning before this draconian fascist authoritarian law was passed, stripping local school boards of their authority, forcing 94% of children who don't speak English to be taught in English? This law didn't exist. Arresting parents for truancy of their children when they have no money to send them to school? This law that you're going to enforce must be enforced? What planet are you on there, Siviwe? What are you drinking? Chibuku? Casso Lager? What's your preferred beverage of choice? I will not tolerate the politicization of this act in a way that affects our children and distracts them from teaching and learning. Hello? Who politicized the act? The Democratic Alliance. And now you're telling us that you won't tolerate politicization of it? My goodness, what a psychotic political party. What a psychotic political party. No, they're just fellow travelers. They're bedfellows. They're emasculated eunuchs, the little stepbrothers of the ANC, and they do exactly what their boss tells them to do. Wow. You notice how they were clapping like trained seals when Cyril Ramaphosa was telling his bullshit about job opportunities created? There are no jobs created. There's job opportunities, which means training. People get a training course for 3 or 4 weeks, and then they come back and say, we created 750,000 job opportunities for youth last year. How many fucking jobs did you create? None, because the government doesn't create jobs. Get that through your head, DA. Get that through your head, ANC. Only the private sector creates jobs. The government destroys jobs. But Chris, the government employs this many people. Yeah, and if those people were employed in the private sector, they would foster businesses. Businesses would grow, and hundreds of thousands of more people would be employed than the number employed by the government. So I don't want to hear that. But let's go to the next one here for the Democratic Alliance. This is the leather one here. This is from October 10th, 2016. Now, someone said this to me, and it had been edited. They put a red circle around it, and I don't like to run things without being able to confirm it. But in fact, gone to John Steenhuisen's Twitter account, and he actually put this on his Twitter account. Now, to be fair to John Steenhuisen, this is from October 2016. But I'm going to mention to you to show you this man wants to send a delegation to Washington to tell Trump how he got it wrong and explain to the Americans the DA's position, as if we give a flying flip about you fellow travelers with your communists in the government of national unity. But this is what John Steenhuisen had to say about Donald Trump in 2016. Donald Trump is a deeply disturbing individual. Clinton is by no means perfect, but on her worst day is better suited to be U.S. president. And then in a smart-ass reply to someone, he says, enjoy supporting Trump. So you honestly saying that Hillary Clinton is to blame for every crisis in the Middle East? Oh, I thought it was George Bush that went to war in the Middle East. This was a member of parliament when he did that. That's the tweets he was going back and forth. Lack of maturity for a member of parliament. Yes, I'm snarky, but I'm not in parliament. I'm not in the state house. I'm not in government. When you're in those positions, a certain decorum is expected, which is lacking. That's why no one followed my tweets on Twitter for years, because I didn't behave in that fashion when I was a commissioned officer. So John Steenhuisen in 2016, his judgment was so poor that he thought Hillary Clinton was a better choice for President Donald Trump. And now he wants to send a delegation to the United States to convince Trump that Trump is wrong about South Africa. Oh my gosh. This is unbelievable. Apparently, the Democratic Alliance thinks it knows the side where its bread is buttered, and that's on the side of communism, the ANC, and expropriation without compensation and state control over your school children. Yeah, and forcing them to learn in English, even if they speak Xhosa or Tswana or Venda, their first language is that, they're going to have to learn English. And they're going to put you in prison for, or fine you with a corrupt official taking money in your pocket because your kid was late for school or didn't show up today. Well, Feo Plaisir, John Steenhuisen has always been anti-Trump, has he not? That tweet is not from 2025. That tweet is from 2016. Shows you his feelings towards Donald Trump. Yep, the Democratic Alliance exposed themselves for the leftist frauds that they are all time and again. Look, I never said these things about Democratic Alliance and encourage people, because their only option, to vote for them in November 2021. I didn't say you can vote for anybody, but realistically, if they have a chance of winning majority, you should vote for them in a municipality so they can control a municipality without a coalition. Anyway, unbelievable. Well, there's one thing that's going to cause the United States to close their consulate in Johannesburg. You ready for this? Get ready for the United States to close its consulate in Johannesburg because of what they decided to do last year. Joel Pollak, the front runner to become U.S. ambassador in South Africa. And who keeps saying he's front runner? This is people spreading the word around. No one's confirmed this. Trump hasn't said it, but yeah, he probably is the front runner. He said a planned Santon Drive name change would result in the closure of the consulate in Johannesburg. U.S. consulate in Joburg is located on 1 Santon Drive, and it's a branch of our diplomatic mission in South Africa. Consul General Stephanie Bunce heads it and represents the people in the region and the business and academic communities, as well as providing services to Americans in Joburg. Yeah. Of course, as I've said, the consulate in Joburg provides consular services for Gauteng, the Free State, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, and Northwest provinces. These services include helping Americans with emergencies and assist them with documents like passports, but also helping non-Americans. Anyway, last year, the city of Johannesburg promoted plans to rename Santon Drive Leila Khalid Drive. Leila Khalid is the PLO terrorist who hijacked a plane, and they want to name this after a terrorist. The street where the American consulate's at. You want to talk about giving the United States the middle finger? This was done last year. Trump wasn't president. The United States threatened no sanctions against South Africa. The United States did not threaten AGOA. The United States did not cancel any aid. We gave $500 million so that the city of Johannesburg could rename the road that the United States consulate is on in Johannesburg, providing invaluable services to South Africans and Americans in South Africa, to be naming after a violent terrorist. She gained prominence after a role in TWA Flight 840 hijacking in 1969 and one of the 4 simultaneous Dawson Field hijackings the following year. She was in prison for the hijackings, but released in a prisoner exchange for civilian hostages kidnapped by the PLO. Yeah. Last year, the City Council of Joburg, supported by the EFF, proposed renaming Santon Drive to Leila Khalid Drive. Yep. ANC's first deputy secretary was particularly keen on the name change. We want the United States Embassy to change their letterhead to number 1 Layla Khalid Drive. You see the arrogance. You see the bullshit coming from the South African government, from the ANC, the insults to America. You want to name that road, which there's nothing wrong with the name. Name that road after a woman who hijacked an American plane in 1969 and put the lives of Americans at risk. A terrorist. And the reason you want to name it is not to honor her, but to insult the United States. Fuck around and find out, South Africa. Fuck around and find out. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. In fact, I was driving down that drive last year when it was on the radio and they announced that they were going to change it. Yep. Ken Aronson said, what's wrong with South Africa is not only the ANC, it's Steenhuisen's burning desire for power and rising to lead the DA into the GNU. Well, I agree, Ken. I said that most political parties are into it for craving political power, self-aggrandizement, self-enrichment. And there they are, total sellouts, total sellouts. Well, South Africa ranks a whopping 82nd out of 180 countries on the corruption index, which is very bad. By the way, the United States ranks like 46th or something like that, which isn't particularly impressive. We got to work on ours, apparently. But South Africa is 82nd. I'm surprised they've done that well. South Africa's battle against corruption appears to be in a standstill, according to the Corruption Perceptions Index from Transparency International. They got 41 points on the chart out of 100. The global average is 43. So they're down 3 points since 2019. I think that's bogus. It's probably a lot worse than that. There's no fixing the NHI. This is an op-ed from Business Tech, and I agree. The controversial scheme has made headlines again in the past few weeks, with reports of parties in the GNU agreeing to rework the laws and essentially fix what is seen to be broken within the system. Critics of the private sector say that the system cannot be, or the NHI cannot be fixed because it does not address the core problems of South Africa's healthcare systems. It makes them worse. No different than the Affordable Care Act. All that did was break our healthcare even worse than it was. And that's what NHI will do, except NHI will bankrupt South Africa. All that the Affordable Care Act did was quintuple the cost of healthcare and bankrupt Americans. It didn't bankrupt America. Shameful. African National Congress youth leader shot dead at home in front of her 2-year-old toddler. Peter Maritzburg, police are looking for 2 men who shot dead an ANC Youth League member in Sobantu Township on Monday night. Avuye Dlomo, a nursing student, was killed in front of her 2 family members, including her 2-year-old child. Wow. It's reported that she was with her mother at the home when they were ambushed by the suspects who opened fire on the victim, fatally wounding her. The motive is unknown. Wow. On Friday last week, she went to court for a domestic violence case against her brother after they were summoned to court. While in court, 4 women who were there for another charge asked her why she took their photograph. When she left the court, the women accosted her and assaulted her. They also took her phone. Wow. She denied taking... while inside the house, the men asked her why she took a picture of their sisters in court. She denied this, and one of the men started shooting, and then they both fled. This is the problem. There's no value to human life. What the hell are you shooting a woman because she took a picture in court? This is insanity of the highest order. Well, South Africa is committed to inclusive, sustainable artificial intelligence. The ANC wants Skynet to be inclusive. It's vowed to further public interest and close digital divides. That's a racist dog whistle for black people don't have access to the internet, which is not true. South Africa becomes a signatory to the International Agreement on AI on Tuesday, vowing to further public interest and close digital divides, along with 50 other countries, the EU and the AU. However, the United States and UK were notably missing from the agreement created at the AI Action Summit. The AI Action Summit. Yeah, these people are marching along so the planet can be taken over by the machines. European Union chief is the one who expressed solidarity with the South African government for unreliable, predictable. They say that they are going to support. This is the President of the European Council, which is not the European Union. European Council, Antonio Costa has expressed support for South Africa's G20 presidency. Yes, he's a council president. Well, you can stick it where the sun don't shine there, Mr. Spaniard. M23 rebels call for the withdrawal of forces and claim that Ronnie Lamola is trying to mislead on Goma. Well, they would be correct in that. Ronnie Lamola is lying to the public about Goma. M23 and the Alliance Fleuve Congo, or Congo River Alliance, issued a statement after Minister of International Relations Cooperation Ronald Lamola told Parliament on Monday that an abrupt withdrawal of troops was even worse than surrender. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, you may find it shocking to believe, but the bogus, virtue signaling Paris Climate Accord has failed yet again. Nearly every nation that signed up for this bullshit agreement has missed their targets. Say it ain't so. There's no way, Joe. You mean, but it's Donald Trump's fault. He withdrew from the treaty. Well, we never acceded to the treaty because the Senate has to ratify treaties, so we were never part of it, despite U.S. government imposing sanctions on Americans to comply with it illegally. Almost all nations have missed the United Nations deadline for new climate targets. Just 10 of 200 countries required under the Paris Agreement to deliver fresh climate plans did so on time. This isn't even their mission. This is their plan. Nearly all nations missed the UN deadline to submit new targets for slashing carbon emissions, including major economies under pressure to show leadership following U.S. retreat in climate change. So, only 10 countries submitted a plan. This isn't even reducing your carbon. This is just giving a plan to Paris. These countries pay lip service, while the Americans and Europeans bankrupt their citizens, driving up energy costs and impoverishing our citizens to meet these fantastical fantasy climate goals, while China, India, Brazil, South Africa emit carbon like crazy. Russia. Only we have to pay the price for it. We're being gouged. Gouged. UK government is tightening rules on illegal immigrants getting citizenship. What? UK gives citizenship to illegal immigrants? I understand giving citizenship to legal immigrants who come there and abide by your rules and laws and decide they'd like to become a British national. That makes sense. But illegal immigrants, they give citizenship to criminals? Yeah, apparently they do. The British Home Office issued new guidance saying that those who enter the country unlawfully should normally be refused citizenship. No, they should always be refused citizenship, you dumbasses. Some serious dumbassery in the United Kingdom. The Home Office's good character guidance for caseworkers on granting citizenship was updated on Monday to say that an applicant who's entered the UK illegally would henceforth normally be refused regardless of the time that had passed since the illegal entry took place. The guidance previously stated the applicant should normally be refused if the illegal entry was made within the past 10 years. No! If it's been made ever, they've entered the country illegally 50 years ago, kick their sorry ass out. That's bullshit. You can't run a country like that. Ladies and gentlemen, a reminder of just how dangerous Europe is, and nothing to do with the politics, but with the reality that it's been bombed to smithereens in 2 world wars. Now, the First World War, that bombing is confined to mainland Europe, but in the Second World War, it also included the British Isles. More than 170 World War II era bombs are found under a United Kingdom playground. The unexploded ordnance discovered during a site renovation were described as practice bombs that still carry a charge and must be removed by professionals. More than 170 World War II era practice bombs have been found beneath a playground. The first 2 bombs were discovered last month by workers digging foundations at Scotts Park in the northeastern town of Wooler, about an hour's drive north of Newcastle. The British Defense Ministry said a full survey of the site's needed. In just 2 days, contractors found 155 bombs in a 21 square foot area. It soon became apparent that the scale of the problem was far greater than anyone anticipated. The council described the ordnance as practice bombs, but stressed that they do still carry a charge, and given the numbers involved, need to be recovered by professionals. Wow. Talk about irresponsible disposal of ordnance. These weren't bombs that were dropped from planes. These are ones that they buried. Wow. It's quite something. I think that children have been playing on these bombs, and it's really been a challenging situation. Look how close they were to the surface. They're just barely below the surface. Irresponsible. It's not uncommon to stumble upon unexploded ordnance in Britain. A 2018 BBC report cited the British Defense Ministry saying that it had been involved in making some 450 German bombs from World War II safe over an 8-year period, about 60 bombs per year. Once again, folks, these aren't German bombs. These are ones that the British just buried inches below the surface and endangering public safety, and then built a schoolyard over top of it. Good God. What is wrong with these people? Well, Donald Trump's tariffs on steel and aluminum. Trump's metal tariff threatens to shake up the Canadian can industry. Why? Because they don't make cans. U.S. President Trump's threat to impose sweeping metals tariffs is creating worry and opportunity in can manufacturing and packaging, an industry that relies heavily on the raw materials. The 25% tax on aluminum and steel coming into the United States starts on March 12th, and the possibility of retaliatory tariffs is expected to cause cost ripples for buyers of beer, soup, and everything else producers seal up in the metal. It's just another hit that the industry can't take, said Healy C.J. Healy, president of Beer Canada. The magnitude and timing, couldn't be worse. Almost 90% of the beer consumed in Canada is brewed in Canada. Most of the cans are imported, including a popular 473 milliliter size among craft breweries. U.S. manufacturers of cans import metal from Canada. The metal makes up 70% of the price of a can. Tariffs would make those imports more costly for the U.S. firms, in turn increasing the cost of those cans when they're sold back to Canadian companies. So Canada thinks that the tariffs are going to hurt us. Here's a perfect example of how dependent Canada is on the United States. All right, we import alumina from Canada, apparently, which is used and smelted in America to make aluminum cans. Canada doesn't produce aluminum cans, so we sell them back to Canada. But if we put a 25% tariff on the alumina coming in, that bumps up the 70% of the cost by 25%. So that would be probably about an 18% price hike for the cans when they're sold in Canada. But the Canadians are they're gonna tariff us. Yeah, okay, they don't need us. Dumbasses, I swear. There's a lot of dumbassery going on in the world. Pete Hegseth's defense minister has said that we're ruling out NATO membership for Ukraine. Yay! Yay! It's about damn time someone with common sense spoke up. We are not going to accept Ukraine into NATO. Thank you. So for the ANC scumbags, and who was it? It was Sengizo Zibi from Rise Mzansi who said that this is NATO's war. No, it's not NATO's war. It's Russia and Ukraine's war, and we want nothing to do with it. U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said on Wednesday that the war between Ukraine and Russia must end. And Kiev joining NATO is unrealistic, and that the U.S. will no longer prioritize European-Ukrainian security as the Trump administration shifts its attention to securing its own borders and deterring war with China. Ho, ho, ho. Shots fired. Pete Hegseth calls Ukraine's peace goals unrealistic. U.S. Defense Secretary said any deal to end the fighting must come with international oversight of the boundary between Russia and Ukrainian forces and no NATO membership for Kiev. That's pretty clear. He said chasing this illusionary goal will only prolong the war and cause more pain and suffering. Any peace deal must come with robust security guarantees, international oversight of the boundary between Russia and Ukrainian forces, and no NATO membership for Ukraine. There you go. Wow. Because that would oblige us to defend them under Article 5 if they're attacked. We don't want that. It's none of our business. Inspector generals are suing Donald Trump for being fired. They didn't like losing their jobs. 8 inspectors general fired by Trump filed a lawsuit against administration officials alleging their termination violated the law, adding to dozens of other legal challenges facing the president at the start of his new term. Yeah, he fired 17 of them, and 8 of them have filed a lawsuit. Unhappy. Litigious country, America. Border Czar, DHS Secretary, suggests that the FBI is leaking information about ICE raids. And if they are, they should be arrested for violation of federal code and prosecute the full extent of the law and be considered for a charge of treason, quite frankly. Some of the information receiving tends to lead toward the FBI, says Tom Homan. Tom Homan, the Trump administration's border czar, and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem have suggested that recent leaks about immigration customs enforcement raids across the United States are being leaked by the FBI. Yep. Homan said Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove told him that he promised not only will this person lose their job and pension, but they'll go to jail. Yep. Adding to leaks about ICE raids targeting Venezuelan gang Tren de Agua are giving the bad guys a heads up so they can escape apprehension. Not just that, but when they leak these raids, they put the lives of civilians and bystanders and also those of the targets of the raids and the officials, the law enforcement officials, in jeopardy. These people are criminals, and they must be exposed and prosecuted the full extent of law. And I hope they enjoy their prison cell for violating the public's trust, and endangering public safety and the lives of law enforcement officials and the general public. Trump is the executive order vowing substantial cuts to the federal workforce. The order, which empowers DOJ, is the most explicit statement yet by the president that he supports large-scale cuts to the federal workforce. President Trump signed executive order Tuesday that requires federal agencies to work with the U.S. DOJ service to cut their existing workforce and limit future hiring. Wow. There you go. That's a big news there. The Associated Press has a reporter banned from the White House or from the Oval Office because of their failure to use Trump's renaming of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. By the way, the whole thing with credentials for the White House press room is all bullshit. It's a smokescreen. They're not granting any press credentials to anybody except their favorite friends at Breitbart and places like that. No one else has gotten press credentials. I was among the very first. Before she even finished her sentence about that, I had gone to the website and applied, and I have yet to hear from the White House about press credentials. It's all bullshit, smoke and mirrors. So don't buy it for a second, folks. They have now had weeks to tell us that, and I have not heard from these people. They're total frauds. The rich protect their own. Agency says broad dissemination means names need to be recognizable to global readers. The White House barred an Associated Press reporter from entering an Oval Office event Tuesday after the wire service refused to bow to Trump's demand that it change its style on the Gulf of Mexico, which Trump renamed the Gulf of America. The reporter was blocked as they tried to enter a press event in which Trump signed an executive order alongside Elon Musk, who answers reporters' questions. Yeah, it's alarming the Trump administration would punish the AP for its independent journalism. Limiting our access to the Oval Office based on the content of the AP's speech not only severely impedes the public's access to independent news, it plainly violates the First Amendment. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You have no right to be in the Oval Office. That's a courtesy. That's a courtesy. It doesn't violate the First Amendment. You have freedom of the press, but you don't have freedom of access. That's a very different situation. So, look, I think it's a silly situation. The AP is a news service that is woke and capitalizes adjectives like black when describing Americans. Americans are capitalized, blacks are not, unless you're defining blacks as a group. But black Americans is not capitalized. That is a racist use of the English language. So screw the Associated Press if they want to behave like that. The Federal Aviation Administration wants to limit helicopter flights in D.C. Good luck with this. Permanent helicopter restrictions. Air safety regulators consider long-term safety fixes to airspace after deadly collision. The move under consideration by senior Federal Aviation Administration officials would be part of a long-term plan to improve safety at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Helicopters have been temporarily barred from flying in a corridor used by the U.S. Army Black Hawk that collided on January 29th. Chopper routes have been used to ferry senior military officials around the region to train for continuity of government mission in the event American political leaders need rapid evacuation from Washington. And now they want to block the route. Look, I get it. I understand why they want to block that route, but you shouldn't just allow people to use a route going north and one coming south simultaneously. That's just stupid, and that's what led to this air crash. All right, so 724 people currently here, just 428 likes. Come on, folks. Give me a like. Come on. Make it happen.
That was easy.
Hit the like button. Doesn't cost you anything but a moment of your time. See, it's just easy buttons right here. We push the button. Hit the like button. Doesn't cost you anything. Thanks for listening. I'm going to get to the chat now. Let me close the poll. And let's see. If you voted for the DA, are you satisfied with your vote? 93% of the 688 people who say they voted for the DA, and I don't know how accurate that is, maybe some of them didn't vote, but 93% say they're unhappy. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think the DA might be in trouble? Yes, I know my audience is not a representative sample of all DA voters. I get that. But if 93% of 700 people who answer my poll, which is more people that answer poll than the Times Live polls in the same amount of time, say that they're unhappy with their vote, the DA is in trouble here, folks. Let me go back a little ways in the chat and say hello to folks. On Google Maps, it still says Gulf of Mexico in brackets, Gulf of America, so Google will have to change it. Yeah, well, the thing is that people call, okay, let me just give an example here. The Persian Gulf. Saudi Arabia doesn't call it the Persian Gulf. It's the Arabian Gulf. The Iranians don't call it the Arabian Gulf. It's the Persian Gulf. So, this happens all the time. So Trump can call it the Gulf of America and everyone else can call it the Gulf of Mexico, and both names are applicable. People need to go over themselves. It's like I still call it Cape Verde, but they officially changed the name to Capo Verde. I don't call it Capo Verde. I call it Cape Verde. People still say the Ivory Coast, but the official name is not the Ivory Coast. It's Côte d'Ivoire. And I tend to say Côte d'Ivoire. So people can call it what they want. They get over themselves. All right, I'm not going to go all the way back in the chat, but I will go back a little ways here. About 6 or 7 minutes ago. Alex says, and what exactly did DA do to make you so fed up with them, Matt? Okay. Gideon Schaumburg. I was raised to work with, okay. Zelensky is a Muppet. He is. Hang on, I thought the U.S. has large deposits of aluminum and iron ore. Yeah, we have large deposits of iron ore. I don't know that we have large deposits of alumina. But we have aluminum is not a deposit. Aluminum is a product. Alumina is the source material. Yeah, we have large deposits of iron ore, some of the biggest deposits on the planet. I'm not sure about alumina. That's one of the reasons why Kaiser Aluminum built the Akasambo Dam in Ghana to process alumina into aluminum. If I go to America's Refugee, can I buy a property and live there? Or do I need to stay in a house? The government doesn't choose your house. They don't choose your house. They may help you find a place in temporary resettlement. You can live where you want. Live where you want. Just got to have the money. We had this conversation last night about loans and credit history and credit rating. Calling Black Label 5.5. There are many who have nothing here and will go. Okay, I've never voted DA, but they're part of the Wildebeest Party. Trump signed that executive order this week for Ally and Iron to boost the U.S. jobs. Yeah, he did. Ally, you mean aluminum, okay. Corrupt Ukraine and NATO is like the neighborhood thief bringing in your community watch group. Agreed, Tom Smith, 100%. It's one of the most corrupt countries in the world, second worst in Europe after Montenegro. Laura Fenter, welcome to you. William Peters, NATO don't want Ukraine because it's now broken. We never wanted Ukraine. We never wanted. It wasn't even in consideration. They just fobbed them along. They were never coming into NATO. Please enlighten me on what exactly you're referring to when you say commie tide. When did I say commie tide? I don't recall saying commie tide. No getting there. Thousands of Afrikaners working in America. They're highly prized. Esther Stamen says. Anita, welcome to you. Fanny Bota, hello. Ek al VR. Okay. You've been here 5 years? Wow. Good to see you there. Gladly welcome Ukraine and their trains and minerals into NATO, says Pablo Charlie with a smart Alex. Smart. Yep. All right, Gideon says, they must work. Americans threat mean nothing. Our biggest import and export part is China. Oh, I see what's going on. Gideon Schaumburg. All right, Gideon, time for a little lesson here. America has made no threat. So stop with your bullshit. We made no threats to South Africa. None. Show me a threat. We gift you $500 million, which goes to third parties, not even the South African government. And we don't have that money. Last year, we spent $2 trillion more than we had in deficit, adding to our massive federal deficit, which is going to bankrupt this country. We are not going to give money away we don't have. We borrowed money, which I have to pay as a taxpayer, the principal and the interest on that for the next 30 years to give you money for a responsibility that South African government's responsible for. It's not our responsibility to take care of HIV positive citizens. You're in this shithole because of Thabo Mbeki and South Africa's behavior. That's why you're there. So Gideon, first off, it's not your money. It's our money. We didn't threaten anybody. It's a fucking lie. I'm sick of hearing this bullshit about America threatening South Africa. We didn't threaten anybody. South Africa is threatening us. All we did is stop that. And then we simply took the frozen refugee program that Trump froze on the 20th of January because it was being abused and said to the State Department and Secretary of Homeland Security to prioritize the admission of Afrikaners who are victims of racial discrimination as refugees. There's no threat there. That has nothing to do with you, South Africa. Get over yourself. And not giving you money, it's not our responsibility. Fuck off. You don't deserve our money. This is bullshit. Total bullshit. So there are no threats. Stop the nonsense, Gideon. Oh, and you don't need America? America means nothing? Okay, fine. Second largest trading partner. 400,000 jobs in South Africa tied to trade with the U.S. Shut those jobs down. China's already getting all it wants from South Africa. They import 63% of your minerals. 63%. Good luck with that. You think China's a reliable partner? Does China give you duty-free access to the market? Nope. You pay duty to send your goods to China. You don't pay that to come to America. Jesus Christ. I swear to God. I swear to God. All turn for the next election, upcoming elections, PA, Freedom Front Plus, IFP. Yeah, well, they might do well. Tom Homan is the man. I agree. Gideon, you're way off base. You don't know what you're talking about. You know what? You think America needs South Africa? You didn't say that, but you think you don't need America? Good luck. You think BRICS is going to pick up that deficit? BRICS altogether are nothing. The United States is still bigger than them. Does Ron Paul understand we are less than a pimple on the world stage? No, and Gideon doesn't either. Thinks China matters. By the way, Gideon, I'm not attacking you. You're saying things that make no sense. Also, you're insulting people who have university degrees, saying if you're not an engineer, you're basically an arts person. What's that all about? Steen has this bending backwards, be correct. That's not leadership. Agreed. I'm a bit behind with the video. We need base load capacity. Hey, Jareth. Well, I was a bit behind in the chat, so I'm with you. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? ADW, a lot of Afrikaans people that want to contribute to U.S. economy. So much fake news. Well, then you should watch my content. And the 14 questions, frequently asked questions are there. They're spot on. Chris, I thought you were pro-Trump or only pro-conservative. Help me here. Chantel Boyson, I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not anti-Trump. I voted for him enthusiastically, and I would be happy to work in his administration. But, okay, we got to make a very clear distinction here, folks. We got to make a very clear distinction here. Genuine people are not sycophants. I'm not a sycophant for the Trump administration, even though my name is under consideration for appointment in the Trump administration. I'm not a sycophant for the Trump administration. I told you if he wins the election, I will hold the Trump administration accountable. When they do something that is not tolerable, not acceptable, I will point it out. For years, I encouraged people to vote for the DA, even though I don't care for the DA. I didn't dislike them. They didn't do anything for me, but they were the only viable option in many cases. I'm a realist. I'm a pragmatist. I'm a conservative. So, Chantel, I'm not going to sing the praises and ignore the shortcomings of the Trump administration. No, I've already pointed out 4 or 5 things that make no sense. This executive order was ham-fisted. This should never have said Afrikaners. It should have said South African minorities who are suffering from racial oppression or discrimination. That's what it should have said. And there should have been more emphasis on Iran and the nuclear coordination and cooperation between South Africa and Iran. That's what should have happened. I would have done it differently. But I mean, I'm not arguing with the executive order. It's fine. But a lot of problems created because of that. So no, Chantel, I'm not an apologist for anybody. I enthusiastically voted for Trump, and I support almost everything the guy's doing enthusiastically. But that doesn't mean he gets a free pass when he does something that's questionable from my perspective. But that's my view. That's my opinion. Thank you for your membership there, Craig Sprung. So Chantel, hope I answered that question. Gerard Bernard, what am I to do as a mining safety officer? The vacancies available in the U.S. Well, Gerard, I have no idea what vacancies there are. I mean, do a Google search. Look for mining jobs in America. That's what Google's for. I'm not being dismissive of you, but I don't know. I can't answer that question right now. If you come here as a refugee, you're allowed to work if you have qualifications, but I doubt you'll be able to work as a mining safety officer. You have to be certified in America, would be my guess. You have to be certified in South Africa. You can't just go down to mine and be a safety officer, right? You got to be certified. You got to meet qualifications. Well, your qualifications don't match America's qualifications. So you're going to have to go through a period of getting your qualifications confirmed, or you're going to have to get training. One of the two. You probably have to get training because we have different mine safety standards. So just saying. Anyway, what am I to do? Okay, got it. Gerard. South Africa's pulling itself down by its own bootstraps. They misread the arrow on back. Yep. Crocotopia's back. Welcome to you. Google Maps is still okay. Got it. Okay, that's where it's at. Bernard, let's be honest. After Trump's announcement, how many BRICS countries stood up? Every one of the countries count on the U.S. Exactly. Not a single BRICS country has stood up and said they're going to support. And this one European Council official who said we're with South Africa, they've offered no aid. They're not giving $400 million to cover the shortfall in HIV medication. They're not going to do that. It's all bullshit. Only America Thank you, Em. Only America are the suckers that give money to South Africa when they stab America in the back at every turn. Look, we just talked about Leila Khaled Boulevard in Johannesburg. And the reason for naming it is not to honor the terrorists, who they're sympathetic with, but to put and poke the Americans in the eye because the American embassy's on Santon Drive. That's why they want to rename it. And you want our money? And you're going to accuse us of bullying you? Accuse us of threatening you? Oh, piss off. Please command all things these traitors who want to run away, to dig in, defend their own place of birth, stand together and take back what's theirs. Please command them. Gerald Rafferty, again, if you watch my video, I told people who criticize those who want to leave South Africa to shut their mouths, and I'll say it again, you can't speak for the people who find themselves in circumstances where their wife has been gang raped, their children have been murdered, their home has been burned, they've been denied jobs and promotion. They've been fired. They've been retrenched. They have to work for people who are functionally illiterate, who can't chew gum, even though they're engineers. You can't speak for them. And by the same token, the people who are saying, all people who stay are stupid, shut your mouth. Because you can't speak for those who love their country and want to stay in South Africa and improve South Africa and save it. That's their choice. Neither group of people can speak for the other group of people. So speak for yourself if you want to leave. Speak for yourself if you want to stay. My hope would be that everybody wants to stay. But I understand the reality that many people face. And I get it. It's not my choice. I'm not speaking for you, and I'm not telling you what to do. You have to make your own choice in life. Unless you're Shirley MacLaine or a Buddhist, you don't get reincarnation. You get one shot, one pass, the one journey through this life before you move on to whether there's an existence after this or it's just carbon in the ground. One shot. You got to make the most of it. Treat the world, make it a better place, treat people well, and that's how it should be. So don't criticize people for wanting to leave, and don't criticize people for staying. All right? Okay, Gainesville, Florida, good luck with that. Ugh, you can have it. All right, so there you go. All right, Gerald Rafferty, thank you for bringing that point up. Meerkat says, wish Trump had a more cultivated vocabulary so he could apply words correctly in the right context. His rhetoric is often misunderstood. 100%, Meerkat, 100%. Wish South Africa's government would just, is Ronaldo here, or is he on the chat? Let me see. Let me find Ronaldo. Okay, Ronaldo, you ready to go? All right, then we'll go over there. Okay, thank you. So I just want to check. Dumo Denga, is Dumo Denga here? I didn't see Dumo Denga. Oh my goodness, Dumo, how you doing, man? There he is. Oh, Dumo Dango is alive. Oh my goodness, he's been so damn busy. My Kanako program has stagnated and died. Man, now nobody thinks I have any black friends because we don't do Kanako anymore. So depressing. Oh my goodness. I miss our conversations with Koketso and Dumo and the occasional other folks like Nzuzo there. Hey Dumo, how's it going, man? All right, Ronaldo, I'm going to wrap it up here. Folks, you're going to be, I know Dumo, that's why I know it's been very busy here. I know, very busy for you. So folks, you're going to be redirected over to Ronaldo's channel. I really hate to end a stream that's only been going for an hour with 800 people watching right now, and I apologize, but this is Wednesday, and Wednesdays with the Colonel comes after this program, and I wasn't able to start early because I had to make the video about the Democratic Alliance and how they're living in a blue fog. So you're going to be redirected over to Ronaldo if you want to stay. I see 20 people already left, but please come over and join us over there. There's a super chat from Louisa Rautenbach. 70-year-old, do not think USA will accept me. Okay, well, before we go, Louisa, you would be wrong. You would be wrong. I'm going to share this once again for everybody that's here before we go to Ronaldo. And I know I just said I'm leaving, but it's important. She gave a super chat, and I'm going to answer this question very quickly. Louisa, your age has jack squat to do with refugee status. We don't care about your age. It's a refugee resettlement program for humanitarian reasons for people who are persecuted or who fear persecution. Whether you're 2 or 92 does not matter. It doesn't matter if you're a burden on America, you come here. This is the great and wonderful thing that this systemically racist country does for the world. We let millions of people come to this country over the past 2 decades as refugees because they're genuinely persecuted for being a homosexual or being a Jew or being a Christian or being a Muslim in their country of origin, or because they're being politically persecuted. And it doesn't matter what your age is or what you contribute. You could be a paraplegic and you could come to America. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So don't worry about that, Louisa. If you want to come to America at the age of 70 and you want to apply to a refugee program when the standards become available, that's on you. That's on you. It has nothing to do with it. So there you go, folks. That's it. Time for me to go to Ronaldo. Please join us over there. Why did you change your clock? I didn't change my clock, Marius. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? My clock is right there. And, you know, people need to quit moaning about my clock. Not you, Marius. 20 is not the year. It's not 20. It's the temperature in here. And I put it in Celsius as a courtesy because most of my audience is not American instead of Fahrenheit. Because I put it Fahrenheit, I'd be like, how do I get this at 30 degrees? What's that? That's 20 degrees Celsius in my house. Otherwise, that would be -2 right now. The thing below it is February 12th. Okay, enough of that. Time to go to Ronaldo. Catch you guys there. Yvonne, find a vat. Some people just don't get it. Yeah, some people don't. I'm trying. All right, guys. See you shortly over on Ronaldo's program. Thanks for being here. God bless. Cheers. If I already have a Social Security number, do I take my card with me or do they expire? Social Security numbers never expire. They're forever. Well, when you expire, they expire. They're retired. But they don't expire while you're alive. Cheers.